And I am within the stadium, the Moruleng Stadium, at the grandstand, and it is slowly filling up. Even the sides of the stadium where there were not enough people coming in. Right now we are seeing a lot of people making their way in. Maybe this is an indication that the program might get underway very shortly. But just listening into that conversation that you had with Umamto Didiza, speaking about the need for the president to speak about service delivery when it comes to that January 8th statement. There has been a bit of concern when it comes to the manner in which the president has actually been moving around within the Northwest province. We understand that this is quite a vast province, but people taking offense over the fact that the president was actually using a helicopter and not driving on the same roads that they are driving in, the roads that are filled with potholes. So a bit of criticism directed towards the president of the ANC. But not to waste time, I am going to bring in the deputy chairperson of the SACP just to speak to him about what is happening today. Thank you so much, Thulas Nxesi. Thank you so much for joining us today. The ANC hosts its 114th birthday celebration. Comes at a time when the relations between the two parties, the SACP and the ANC, are not at good standing. Just your thoughts as the SACP, as the ANC celebrates the birthday.
Well, we are here as the Communist Party to convey our congratulations to the African National Congress in terms of the number of years they've reached as an organization. And we know that they've gone through different phases, different challenges, and they've been able to deal with those challenges over a number of years. But despite the successes they've recorded, you're talking Freedom Charter, you're talking Umkhonto weSizwe, the liberation struggle as a whole, in exile, despite all those which are people of this country are appreciating, there are still serious challenges. For instance, one of our criticisms as the South African Communist Party is the issue of the property relations. That is, who is in control of the wealth today. Monopoly capital is still in control. They are in control of the land. What is happening with unemployment? Majority of our people are unemployed. You're talking about the youth, which is unemployed, and we feel that this issue of the unemployment, especially of the young people, should be treated carefully. Instead of blaming the young people, we must say, are our programs as government responding? Are they responding to the youth which is unemployed? Are they responding to the skills which are needed instead of denigrating the young people? So it's a very big challenge which we have to deal with. And of course, we have said one of the weaknesses of the movement has been at the local municipality level, where in some areas we're talking rot, we're talking corruption, we're talking poor service delivery. But as a result, we took a decision to say, after doing an assessment for a number of years, it's time now that we enter the fray. We have agreed that as the SACP, we are now going to contest, and that decision we've communicated, we've discussed it with the leadership of the ANC. But what is key is, where we agree, we're still committed to a common program of the alliance on talking about the National Democratic Revolution. But where we disagree, we will have our independent programs. And we're saying, as we approach the elections, we tend to be very emotive moment. We need to make sure that we manage the differences properly. There is no violence in the contestation, and we can only do that if we all accept that we are independent parties, but who have some common program. And even after the elections, we will still need each other. We will still have to work together.
You've spoken in length about unemployment, especially amongst the youth, and those utterances, I'm sure, by the chairperson of the ANC, who seem to suggest that young people are lazy. As a person who was the Minister of Labour, what do you believe you did during your tenure as Labour Minister to try and improve and encourage the employment of young people?
One of the programs which we started was the employment program, which was started at the presidency and instructed the Ministry of Labour to lead that program. We had put plans to talk about not less than 3 million to 5 million people, young people, but we said Let's train them. Let's work with the private sector. You know that in Gauteng, it was a buzz with the program of NAS, Hispani, and so on. And people were having high expectations. We were starting to choose the service providers in order to be able to train people in mass. And what is key? Let's train our young people in mass instead of just blaming them for the unemployment, because there are no job opportunities. And that's what we were doing. I'm not sure how far that program is as we speak. You know that I am the former, but I think it's still very critical that we work with the private sector, we work with the unions, we work with government, we work with everybody. Massify skills training, it's central. And also talk about vocational education, not focus on university education. People can have a lot of certificates, a lot of degrees, but if they do not have skills, it's a serious problem. So unemployment of the young people must be regarded as a serious disaster. I've heard some of the young people from the YCL and even the ANC Youth League talking about this, that it must be declared as a national, but it must not just be declaration, it must be in action on how we deal with the unemployment in this country.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chairperson there of the SACP, Mr. Thulas Nxesi, just expressing a bit of concern over those utterances that were issued by the chairperson, the national chairperson of the ANC, Mr. govt, who seemed to suggest that a lot of young people in South Africa are lazy and this is why they are unemployed. He is saying basically that we need to do a lot as a country, especially as government, to try and deal with this issue. But we do also have my colleague, Thulas Nxesi, who is also still trying to talk to some of those ANC supporters who are making their way into the stadium.